So we've got one last match we're going to do here. This is Mono Blue Cloud Post, and we're playing against Sir Pop Tart 15, a very good friend of mine online. We do a lot of testing and play testing together, and he's one of the premier players of the Silver Black format, which is another format I like to play. If you guys have seen my YouTube, I tend to showcase that a lot. So we're on the draw here. He's playing Mono Green Stompy. We're going to keep this hand. We've got a turn 1 map. We've got a repeal, kind of keep us afloat, and some late game. So we're not going to mulligan. Hopefully we're not going to get too beat down too early here. So let's see what he's going to do. He's undoubtedly going to have a turn 1 play here. Looks like a forest, obviously. Guess that's not a surprise. Young Wolf, not the most frightening of the turn 1s, but probably going to follow up with some kind of Rancor, maybe a Skargan Pit Skulk. So this repeal is going to be probably better used. Oh, wow, a land grant. Getting him a forest here, a groundswell. We have his whole hand here. So he's got a ranger. He's got a gathered courage, which he can convoke. A groundswell for next turn. And a basking root wall. This is a little bit more of a fancier version. We see that we've drawn into a serrated arrows. So let's go ahead and get the expedition map. It's looking like a turn 4 arrows here, regardless of what we do. So let's go ahead and pass. And so we stand to take about 5. He could also convoke the courage, which would hit us for 7, and he could play another creature, or he can attack us for 1 and play both of these creatures out. It'd be really nice to repeal the basking root walla while he tries to pump it. So he's not going to use the groundswell, as we see. He does not play it before combat. Since he has the ranger, he's able to use her ability in its stead. So that's pretty nice. So we know two out of the 3 cards he's playing here. Let's go ahead and lay out the island. And we can use this repeal. In the event that he has Ghostly Flicker, it's kind of bad, but I think we can set it up to do pretty nicely here. He's going to attack. I think he's just going to pump the root walla. Let's pass priority and see what he wants to do. I'm willing to take 3 here. If he pumps the root walla, we're just going to repeal it. So he has 2 unknown cards. He's deciding whether or not he wants to. Yeah, he's going to pump. So we'll let that go. And then now we will repeal Basking Root Walla, drawing us a card. And then I think he's going to use the Quirion Ranger ability to replay the Root Walla. So we get a little bit of tempo, but nothing too incredible, I suppose. And we have a Compulsive Research in hand, which will be a good play next turn, I think. So we stand to take a bit of damage here. Oh, an Echoing Truth. We may not even want to use the Compulsive Research in this case. I think we might just want to sit on Echoing Truth and try and essentially get some more tempo out of him, and then we can use the Serrated Arrows on his root wall if he gets tapped down, which I think will happen. Did not use the groundswell once again. So here comes another attack. And I guess we'll just take this since it looks like he's not going to pounce on us. We may be able to Echoing Truth an additional creature if he plays like a copy. So he's got 5 cards now, so that's quite a bit. There's a Ranger, so we're going to possibly hit double Ranger here. He might have Vines, but hopefully not. If he uses the Vines, we get to kill the Root Walla. Taking a lot of damage. Oh, never mind. Alright. So that's looking very good. He might still have Vines, but I think it's time for us to resolve the Serrated Arrows. Since we have Flicker, we have a number of things we can do. I mean, if he had Vines, I think he would have used it there. So that's going to really be helpful for us. So we know his hand's 2 Rangers, these 2 cards, and looks like 2 unknowns. He's got a Silhana Ledgewalker. That's going to be tough to deal with, especially with these 2. Looks like we're going to take another point of a life. But we have counter spells to keep us a little bit in the game. I may also just want to gain 2 life with the expedition map here. Okay, so we have a land. We can play the Mole Drifter out. We know he has Gather Courage, which is going to keep us from blocking the Ledgewalker this turn. We can also play Compulsive Research, leave up Counterspell. That doesn't seem too promising. I think we want to play the Mole Drifter. We're going to take, so he used the Groundswell. We're going to take, upwards of 5, maybe more. But I don't think we have much of a choice here. That's what I'm thinking. So let's go ahead and play Mole Drifter. I think that's our best option. We could also leave up Flicker and Counterspell. We could play Compulsive Research and leave up Counterspell. I think it's going to be better to put this creature down onto the battlefield. If we hit an Archaeomancer, we're going to look pretty good. We hit a Glimmer Post, so that's going to be good for us. Now, we had an opportunity there. The Gather Courage wouldn't really have, or the arrows wouldn't have done much in the face of Gather Courage. So what I think I want to do here is block the Young Wolf. If he attempts to pump it up, we can shoot it with the arrows. And although we don't have much we can do, although it is a bit of a waste of an arrow counter, I think it might still be the right play. If we block this, we know that we're going to get killed. The Mole Drifter is going to get killed, that is. We're going to gain 2 life here, draw about 4 cards if we want to make a Ghostly Flicker play. I think we blocked the Young Wolf, but we're not going to be able to put any arrow counters on the 2/2, otherwise it's going to mess us up a lot. So let's see how much damage he's going to put in front of the Ledgewalker. It looks like nothing. And if he plays any more creatures, we're going to just try and mow those down. Like for instance this one. Land Grant. So this is the only card we know that's still there. And the problem is this is going to be unblockable, right? Unless we use a counter spell. So we're going to shoot one of these creatures. I just don't know which one. I think it's going to be Serrated. I think it's going to be the Pit Skulk. We can block the Young Wolf and use a counter spell to stop any type of foolishness. We can use the Ghostly Flicker as well. So I think we're going to try and mow down this young man. See how that goes for us. And we're going to just go ahead and do it while he's tapped out. We're going to leave up Ghostly Flicker and Counterspell. We're going to be at 11. He's got Gather Courage and 1 unknown. And we can counter whatever that unknown is. We can also flicker both of these. Depending, I mean, we may actually flicker the Glimmer Posts and the Serrated Arrows. We're going to just leave it up to him, see what he's going to do here, and go from there. He now has a 3rd card in hand, but I think we want to block the Ledgewalker. We can also trade with the Young Wolf. Aquarian Ranger, I think is going to be fine. I mean, I don't think it's going to be fine, but we have ways to deal with that currently. So my plan here is going to be to trade with the Young Wolf Since we're at 11, we're at a pretty healthy life total. Is he just sending the young wolf? We actually could block the ledge walker and counter both of his pumps. I think we'll trade here. There's a chance we may get to crack this and play Muldrifter with counterspell backup. Okay, so what I think I want to do is condescend this. But if we do that, we need to crack the map first, which means we may... Oh, we can't do that. We're only condescend for 3. So we either need a Ghostly Flicker here, or we need to just make this trade. It might be better to Ghostly Flicker. I think that's going to be better. What we're going to do is flicker the arrows and the Muldrifter. And we still have counterspell. And we draw 2 cards. And we have another Serrated Arrows. This is dastardly. I will say that it's going to be very hard for us to lose from this spot. So I'm going to go ahead and just get a Glimmer Post. We have a lot we can do with extra mana, but I think preserving our life total is going to be just what we want to do more. So there's that. We'll go ahead and play this out. And I don't think there's any way we lose from this stage. We still have both of our counter spells up. No, I should have shot this down. I don't know what I was thinking. That's a pretty big misplay. Because he can now reuse the ability. But I guess I could shoot him as a response, right? So we'll go ahead and offer the trade once again. He's going to take the trade. And he's on 2 cards. So we're feeling very comfortable in this position. Wild Mongrel, I'm going to counter. Actually, we can just kill this. I think it's fine to leave the Wild Mongrel alive. We'll just start mowing the creatures down. We should be very safe from this position. Okay. Uses the ability. And we're going to hit the Wild Mongrel. And here we'll play Muldrifter. We still have a counter spell. And see if we draw like a Cloud Post. We want the Muldrifter to block this, so we do draw a Cloud Post. So let's go ahead and take you down. And here. So we know he's got land and an unknown. And from here we're in great shape. Not really anything that's going to stop us. Okay, so we can Echoing Truth these Serrated Arrows, but we don't need to do that yet. Keep the option of using this Echoing Truth for something else. So here we're going to get proactive. We're going to start drawing some cards, see what we see. I think it's actually safe to play a land and play Archaeomancer because we're basically set here. We're not going to attack him this turn though. We'll just pass. We'll get back the Ghostly Flicker and we'll go from there. We're going to have 8 cards. We'll go ahead and pitch a land. But I think we're pretty much got the game locked. Make sure we targeted Ghostly Flicker. We did. So now we're going to just pass a turn. We'll let the mana dissolve, I believe. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and just leave up Counterspell here. And if he wants to use two pump spells to stop to kill the Mole Drifter, I think I'm okay with that also. Well, we can also just Ghostly Flicker. We just block Ghostly Flicker, and that's pretty insane. Yeah, we've got the game locked. I don't really see any way that he's going to get out of this, so let's go ahead and just start the infinite loop. Draw 2, we got a Capsize now. It's looking pretty sick for us. So I think I'm just going to attack into the Ledge Walker from here. In fact, I think we can attack with both. I really don't see why we wouldn't. I feel fairly safe. We'll go ahead and play a land. We've got Capsize mana available. Don't think we need to use it just this second though. We'll go ahead and play you. We've got double Counterspell. We'll get a repeal. We could get the Compulsive Research, but we're just going to draw a million cards anyway, so we're going to have to pitch 2 cards. We're going to pitch the land and the Accumulated Knowledge. We can also flicker back the Mole Drifter to block, which I think is a fine play. He's actually not going to attack, so we'll just go ahead. Oh, here comes something. So we're going to counter this. Actually, we can repeal it and Capsize. Let's go ahead and counter it. We'll counter for 2. And then we'll get the Counterspell back. So put this on bottom. We're actually going to bottom both. We just want to hit something pretty devastating. So that will resolve. I guess we're going to end up repealing it and flickering. It's going to be my plan, so let's just draw some cards. Those aren't exactly the cards I want to draw, but we'll just bounce you so we can get in. Draw some more cards. This might not be the best use of Ghostly Flicker, but I think it's a moot point at this stage. And we drew another repeal. And here's a Compulsive Research. I'm kind of just looking for Ulamog's Crusher at this point. There's an Expedition map. Can thin our deck out a little bit. Let's go ahead and attack again. If we play the map, we have 1 card to discard. We know he has Young in hand, some unknowns. Let's go ahead and check, make sure we're still here. And okay, we're just waiting on him. This is our graveyard. Target player draws 23 cards for green. Yeah, that's about what he's going to need, so Just gonna keep attacking. And we'll go ahead and play this. We got 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 mana. We're gonna pitch an island. It's not a good sign when I'm the one doing the attacking. So we can probably just let this resolve. Young Wolf. Can also let that resolve. See, what we're going to do is capsize one, repeal the other, and still have counterspell available. I think we're still going to have counterspell. Yeah. We have just about enough. So let's see if he begins combat. Alright, so we'll capsize this guy. I mean, ideally, I'd like to sack the map. So maybe we will sack the map. And then we'll repeal him on the main phase. I'll just get a Glimmer Post. Really put it out of reach. And you know what? We can repeal also, because if he counters it with the vines, it's insignificant at this stage. So we drew a Cloud Post. There's a Curse of Chains we can't use at this moment, but let's go ahead and attack. We know we're not in danger of dying because we know 2 of the 3 cards in his hand. So we just gotta, as quickly as we can, try to wrap up the game. And 8 cards in hand, so we're gonna go ahead and pitch another land. And this time we might start offensively capsizing some things. Actually, that doesn't really even do anything. We probably just want to draw our deck and find some more threats. So let that go. Let that go. And we can get anything from our graveyard that we want. But for now, we should just capsize stuff. So we're going to counter this one. I don't know what his last card is. It could be a bluff. We can actually just kill the Nettle Sentinel if we want. So let's do this first. We'll kill the Nettle Sentinel and then we'll Echoing Truth these. And we'll Ghostly Flicker these. Get back Ghostly Flicker, draw some cards. Actually, I misclicked somewhere because we didn't draw any extra cards. Hang on. Let's try that again. That was kind of weird. Let's do it right this time. But even with a misclick, it's not going to matter. Alright, so we got Ulamog's Crusher here. Time to put the game away. I mean, we're going to show him Ulamog's Crusher, but I don't think it's really that significant. So 7, 8, 7, 8, and we don't draw extra cards here. We'll just, actually it does put him dead though, from my tally, so might as well. We can also use this mana to Ghostly Flicker if we want. I think that's fine. Again, I'm not going to draw extra cards though. Let's just go ahead and get Counterspell, and we'll get Condescend. And just Total Lock. 8, and we'll leave up double Counterspell. Just to be totally safe. We also have Capsize available here. Basking Root Walla is going to resolve. Young Wolf, we're going to counter. He's got one last card. We can kill the Basking Root Walla, attack, and he has insufficient blockers. He did whittle down a large amount of our clock, but I think we should have enough to make it through the rest of the... Oh, wow. How did we lose Ghostly Flicker? I don't know. I guess we just decided not to get Ghostly Flicker back. That's interesting. Well, my play here has been quite sloppy, but I think we've done enough to definitively win the game. I wouldn't condone my actions, but I think we've definitely done enough here. So GG, I believe, unless he has Fog, which we can also counter. And we will go to game 2. So let's wish him a good game and begin our sideboarding. I was kind of glad we were able to take that game. I believe we were on the draw, so that's a pretty good sign. So they play, cheap spells that Condescend is not always going to be able to hit. They also play, very aggressive creatures, pump spells. So as much interactivity as we can get with their game plan, that's going to be good for us. I'm seeing about 4 or 5 cards we can actually bring in. So I think we actually want to dumb down the counter magic, as it were. And we can at least bring in these, because they interact pretty favorably with his plan. Relic is not a terrible idea just for Young Wolf and for Rancor, but we also have this Curse of Chains I'd like to bring in. So Echoing Truth is the card I'm looking at as one that we maybe don't want in the main, but I think Counterspell more than anything is going to be pretty, suboptimal on the draw. So I think this is even better than how we had it. We could even go up to playing more Echoing Truths just to buy us some time, but it could be the case that in the late game we want to keep a couple counter spells. I'm actually not sure. Having no counter spells whatsoever seems possibly loose. Could be right to play Curfew also. So we could cut these counter spells and bring in Echoing Truth, or we could play Curfew, which is another answer to Silhana Ledgewalker. And maybe that's better. So we can probably remove the rest of the creatures. You know what? Since this is a sort of a test match and a more casual match, I'm actually going to try out Curfew and see what I think about it. So let's go ahead and submit like this. All right, it's going to be game 2, also on the draw. And our hand is a little bit suspect. In fact, it's a little too suspect to keep. Though if we have an island, we have a number of plays. This hand is actually decent if it gets a land, but if it doesn't get a land, we're completely screwed. So I don't know which way to go. 2 draw steps, and then we have 3 playables. I'm going to keep this because I think it's going to be so good for us if we hit the land. So that's all that's really necessary for us to make this a good hand, in my opinion. And that's not a great draw. The fact that we're leading on Glimmer Post is already going to wave warning signs to our opponent, I think. So we may just get run over here. I mean, I guess the downside is if we miss a land, it is so detrimental for us that I don't even know how we're going to get back. Okay, so he plays a land grant. This is what he's working with. Looks like he's got a Ledgewalker, but no pump. No, he actually has a Groundswell. He's got 2 Ledgewalkers and Shining of Life's Roar. Alright, we're pretty much dead here. Because he's just going to curve out on us like a madman. I mean, if we hit a land next turn that's not a Cloud Post or a Glimmer Post, I think we'll be okay. But the Una's Gate Warden will buy us a little bit of time. Mana War will buy us some time. Okay, so he's got 2. He's got two of them. Did he hit a third land? No. And there's the island. So I think we're just going to go ahead and play Gate Warden. And see how she does for us. Obviously a way to block Silhana Ledgewalker. We might take about 7 here if he has a land. And then he has a Shine-In, which is going to force us to block. Which kind of sucks. I mean, we can oh, he's just coming in. So we're going to block the Ledgewalker. Take 3. Or maybe more. We still have one more Ledgewalker to deal with. We might be able to fight our way back here. Hidden Spider. Uh-oh. That's not good for us. And Basking Root Walla. Okay, so if I'm able to cast Mana War, I'm going to bounce the Root Walla. And we're hitting Runner Runner. So we're going to bounce the Root Walla and block the Nettle Sentinel. Maybe. From there, we can cast Map. If we draw another untapped land, which would be pretty wild. Okay, he's just going in with her. We'll take it because we have no other option. And there's a Shine-In. Yeah, there's Shine-In. Okay, well that's fine. And there's a land for the Root Walla. So we really want to hit an untapped land. And we don't. We hit a Capsize. So we can use that Capsize as a tool. We can map and get a Glimmer Post, which I think is actually the best play because then we also have accumulated knowledge. Or we could get the other map, and that's going to gain us some more life. So let's get a Glimmer Post here. We just need to buy some time. Next turn we have Glimmer Post arrows to take out the Basking Root Walla. We're going to take about, with the Groundswell at 6, 7, it's actually 10 damage. So it's going to be pretty tough. Then we gain 3, and we take out the Root Walla. There's a Rancor, good lord. Alright, this is going to be almost insurmountable. So that puts 2 damage on top of it. That's going to get us to 2. Actually, he didn't hit a land for Groundswell, so we're going to block the Life's Roar. I think he's going to tap for this, so we take 8. We go to 6. No, he's going to Groundswell that. Okay, there's nothing we can really do about that. But I'm glad that he used that on the Life's Roar rather than on us. So we're actually going to take 6. That's actually possibly the best case scenario there. This is actually a big problem. We might have no choice but to play the Muldrifter. I'm not sure, to be honest. We can also Capsize away the Rancor. So we're going to hit you. We drew another Serrated Arrows. So we're going to go up to 11. Then we're going to shoot you down. Take a minimum of 6 going to 5. Then we have Serrated Arrows. We can shoot you. It's hard to say. I mean, I think our best chance is going to be to play Serrated Arrows. Hopefully his last card is not Vines of Vastwood. If it is, we could be dead. 3, 6, 7, 8, 9. Nope. Well, he didn't have Vines there. And like I said, we're going to take 6. We go to 5. We can kill 2 creatures and Capsize. No, we can't Capsize also. We could be dead here. This is 5, 6. He's tanking, so he definitely has a pump spell. Ooh, I don't know what to do. There's another Ledgewalker. So we probably need to draw Una's Gate Warden to do anything. We draw a land, which is almost good enough. So we kill the Nettle Sentinel. He's got 5 damage on board, which actually just kills us. So we need to come up with another plan. I think we need a compulsive research. I think it's our only option. You know, we need to hit Gate Warden. We need to hit something. The arrows isn't going to do it because we're at 5. So let's research compulsively. And we're waiting on him. To respond. He might be having some issues. I don't think we're going to win. Oh, we drew a Gate Warden. So, what do we pick here? A land? I think we can pitch the accumulated knowledge, but we can block you. We take 2, 3, 4, 5 still. Wow, does that not even save us? We take 2, 3, 4, 5. Wow, we're still dead. Okay, so I guess my plan's not going to work. Oh no, actually we use the arrows. We take 2, 3. Oh, wait. Okay, well I didn't even think about that. That kind of screws us over. That actually really screws us over. Plus we have to block this. So yeah, we're dead. I don't even know what I was thinking. We had no chance. No chance whatsoever. Alright, let's just GG. We need to go to the next game. Okay, so I'm still unsure how Curfew will do. But just based on what we're seeing, I don't think it's going to do that much. He's a swarm strategy. So let's get these counters back in here on the play. We want at least some counter magic. And I think we'll have a good chance on the play. I kept a risky hand, and we were a little behind on tempo. And I made some misplays, so that all contributed to that loss here. So I think this setup's going to be fine. I think we can take the game down. Just a matter of making sure we do it in a timely fashion. Now you see how much tempo we actually got there with the, at least in game 1, with the Mana War, the Echoing Truth, the repeals. It just bought us so much time to get ourselves situated and have just that crazy mid game and that crazy late game. We have this Relic of Progenitus in here. I think it's doable. I think it's actually gonna be serviceable against Rancor, against Young Wolf. So we'll leave it in. And just waiting on the opponent here to figure out his sideboarding. We saw that he brought in Hidden Spider, but I don't think it's going to be that much of an issue. So that's about it. I mean, we can make an argument for taking out things like Crusher and Capsize, because they're so expensive, but we really want to be able to close out a game. Ulamog's Crusher blocks everything on the ground, and then it just really seals the deal for us when we need it to. So I think that's a valid enough argument for keeping that card in the deck. You could also make an argument for cutting a land in this sideboarding plan if we're bringing in cheaper spells, but I don't really want to try that during this particular test run. So, change the color scheme. Let's do that. Anyway, still waiting here. We're still connected. Let's make sure he's alright. And we're just hanging out at this stage. So I don't know how good this matchup is overall, but I think just from the feel of it, it doesn't seem extremely favorable or extremely unfavorable. So let's go ahead and play first here. And I think this hand's monstrous. I think this hand's really good. Not going to mulligan. We're going to lead on Gate Warden. I mean, he might bring in Hornet Sting for her. But if he does, I think it's extremely narrow. And it's not necessarily the case that he's going to have that on turn 1. I think it's going to be better than playing it after he has a Hidden Spider, which we know is going to be is a card he for sure has in his deck. So let's go ahead and play the Gate Warden turn 1. Normally I wouldn't do this against a deck with removal, but if he brings in removal against us, I think I don't want to say it would be a mistake, but I think it's potentially a mistake. So he's just baiting, if he wants to actually play a creature this turn, which that's pretty good. I mean, Young Wolf, we're obviously not going to have a good time blocking, but here I want to play the map. I don't know if I want to play Glimmer Post. Obviously, I don't want to play Glimmer Post, but I'm just trying to figure out, what am I doing next turn? Looks like I'm going to be casting Mana War. So this map is not going to be cracked for some time here. So he's got a land representing Groundswell. Nettle Sentinel is going to resolve. In fact, I think Nettle Sentinel is going to be bounced. Oh, he's got another Nettle Sentinel. Okay, so there's a Pit Skulk. Yeah, we're gonna bounce the Pit Skulk. And there's a Cloud Post, but I don't think we have enough tempo yet to warrant playing that. So let's go ahead and Mana War this Pit Skulk out of here. And then the Mana War is a bargaining chip we could use to start blocking. The longer we can keep that guy off the table, the better. Though Una's Gate Warden is a decent answer to the Pit Skulk. So we'll just pair up the Mana War on the Nettle Sentinel. Looks like next turn we might just be playing Cloud Post and passing to crack for a Glimmer Post. So he has to send both creatures in order to get the Pit Skulk to go live. But if he's going to send both, so maybe it's better to double block, but I actually think we want to... So we could block the Gate Warden on the Sentinel, block the Mana War on the Young Wolf. He could pump the Young Wolf to kill the Mana War. I think we'll do it. If he has a Ledge Walker, yes, that is going to be bad for us. But the thing is, Pit Skulk's going to be just as bad at this stage of the game. So what we want to do is try and accelerate into our late game as quickly as possible. He may actually pump up the Young Wolf, or he'll just let it become a 2/2. It's really up to him. Yeah, he is going to pump the Young Wolf, but that's 2 more damage that's not going to us. So that's more time we have. And now his Young Wolf, or his Pit Skulk, is not doing anything. Now he's got a Hidden Spider. That's not good. But hopefully we can deal with that before he gets... Yeah, see, now we have a Repeal, which we may be able to use. We can actually use it on the Spider, or we can use it on one of his creatures. I think we want to use it on the Spider. Though if we cast Muldrifter, the Spider retains this 1 mana converted mana cost. So that actually doesn't change our game plan at all. So I think we want to bounce the Hidden Spider and then play the Muldrifter. But we may also just want to bounce the Pit Skulk, because the Pit Skulk's a problem too. So we're going to take 3. Yeah, I think we're going to bounce the Hidden Spider. 2 cards in hand. Ugh. So maybe we have to bounce that now? No, we don't have to bounce that. We know his whole hand. He doesn't have a pump. Alright, perfect. And we get to draw a card. Alright. It's a terrible card, but Oh, very nice. So can we do both? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Can't quite do both. Can't quite do both. But I think we have to cast this now because Hidden Spider will ruin our plans otherwise. Maybe we draw another... Oh, okay. We are full of gas now. So I'm not afraid of anything he can do. And we can get back Repeal with the Archaeomancer. Oh, wow. I think we just block this. It's looking like he's not going to have an answer for... He's not going to have a pump spell because he would have sent the whole team. So that's going to resolve. We can deal with this. We can curse it. We can curse this. Alright, so we have a lot of plays. I don't know what's best. I think getting another Repeal is going to be nice. So we can pop this map for a Glimmer Post, play the Glimmer Post, play the Archaeomancer and the Expedition map. We gain 3. I think that's our best play. Just use our mana as efficiently as we can, do as many things to develop our board as we can. And now if he wants to kill the Archaeomancer, he has to use some kind of pump spell. Which doesn't really concern me. Yeah, this might just be to turn on the Pit Skulk. It might not even be able to kill the Archaeomancer. But that's actually fine. We're still at 20 here. Don't know what his last card is, but I don't think it's too relevant. Yeah, so we're going to sack these 3, 4, 5, and then we also have Curse mana for this. We also have Repeal for that. I think we'll just Repeal it now because when it becomes a creature, it's susceptible to vines, which is a bit troublesome. Draw Compulsive Research. Not going to use it yet. We actually have an extra mana available to us, but I don't think that does anything. Unless we draw the 3rd Expedition map, which is possible. We just have so much available, so many cards, so much life. I don't see us losing. We'd have to draw quite a few blanks at this point, though Ledgewalker could get him back in the game. There's Hidden Spider. We have 8 minutes, so keep that in mind. We gotta just start ripping through this. Ripping through our deck. Nettle Sentinel. No attack. That's good. So he's got the flying creature will trigger the Hidden Spider. Let's draw some cards, shall we? Pitch an island. We could just play this. 5, 6, 7, 8. We played a land. But, you know, we could just also wait a turn. Leave up Counterspell. Curse this guy. We actually can't leave up Counterspell if we do that. His last card could be Vines, so... You know what? We have to block this, and we're at 29. I'm going to play Ulamog's Crusher. Who am I kidding? Just play Ulamog's Crusher. If we need to play catch-up from there, we'll play catch-up. We're at 29, and he's got 1 card, so just play it. And we don't need to play the Gate Warden yet. Let's just pass the turn. And I think we attack also. 2 pump spells to kill the Crushers, not likely. So there's no reason to double block it either. So let's just get in, since we wouldn't be able to block anyway. If he attacks at all, it's a huge warning sign, but I mean, two cards on the Crusher, still a 2-for-1. We've got Curse of Chains. I mean, realistically, he'd need double Vines. We haven't seen Vines in his deck at all, so he could leave these up to block, as far as I know. Yeah, let's just attack. I think we send the Muldrifter as well. We have Counterspell. We're feeling pretty safe. We'll put a Curse of Chains on whatever it is that doesn't block. And within 7 minutes, I think we should definitely be able to win the game. I don't see why not. So he's tapping mana. Finds a Vastwood to pump this to a 5/5. Let's go ahead and just counter that. We don't want the Ulamog's Crusher to die, so. Or ideally, we don't want the Ulamog's Crusher to die, I should say. So he sacks the Young Wolf. 7 power. Not blocking. So we'll put Curse of Chains on you, sir, because he's going to be the most troublesome creature of them all. He may just sacrifice his creature at that point, but he's also at 8, so we're looking pretty good. He's going to attack. I'll take it. I'll cast Accumulated Knowledge. I'll draw 2 cards. There's some action for you. Let's attack first. See what he's obviously going to block with this, right? So let's do that. And then from there, I think we'll play the arrows and we can start taking out the Nettle Sentinel. So he'll probably sack this. Oh, he's sacking 2 lands. So he's trying to facilitate some type of race. Trying to figure out what his outs may be, but I don't know for sure what they would be. So let's just use this. And we'll pass. We don't want to give him the Hidden Spider. I mean, he's likely to sack it next turn anyway. I mean, he needs to cast a spell to be able to untap this, so. Yep, that'll resolve. We're going to go ahead and shoot that down. Oh, land. Yeah, let's shoot this. This is the most problematic. Oh, he's attacking with both. Yeah, we'll take 4. That's a little odd. He must have a fog. Otherwise, he can't survive. I guess he could untap it with a spell of some sort. Looks like just a misplay. Unless he's bluffing, we'll go ahead and draw some cards and see what our full options are. Because here we have to assume that he's got an instant, something to hit us with, so. I don't know what actually is the correct play. We can draw 3 more cards here. And kind of decide from there. So he's either got some kind of instant or some way to hit us. Let's go ahead and attack and see what happens. I think we have the game, so I'm just Seeing if we had any other options there. If he casts something to untap this, we have the capsize to bounce it. So I guess that's ultimately going to be a victory for us. We'll send in, see what he sacks. Those two things. And looks like, yeah, we are going to take it here. So I appreciate you guys watching all these videos. It looks like we did fairly well with this deck. We ended up taking out all the matches. So there are some things I'd like to tweak and discuss in the future, but let me know what your thoughts are. Give me any feedback you can. And once again, thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in to mtgoacademy.com.